Welcome back to the Working Well podcast and the 52 Life Lessons series. This episode explores one of the simplest yet most underrated performance tools that's available to every human being. So in lesson 9, it's simply to smile, laugh often, and find joy in everyday life. Now, before your inner executive rolls its eyes and says, Tim, seriously? I have budgets, board meetings, corporate reorgs, and other things to deal with. I also got a team on the edge of burnout. I don't have time to skip through the daisies. Before you start thinking that, hear me out. So what we're talking today isn't about being frivolous. This lesson is based on solid neuroscience, leadership effectiveness, and sustainable human performance. In fact, joy isn't something frivolous, it's a skill. Smiling is a strategy. Playfulness is fuel for engagement, resilience, and better thinking. And we talked about play last time. Joy is a bit more nuanced. We'll talk about that in a bit. The best part is that you already carry these tools with you every minute of every day. You just have to learn how to use them. And don't worry, it's simple. This matters to leaders in a number of ways. The sad truth is that most leaders, they're operating under massive and chronic workloads. They have decision fatigue, and the complexity of their work is increasing by the day. Things like talent shortages and endless digital noise are just wearing them down. And with all of this going on, it's so easy to slip into having stress and tension be your default operating mode. Now, the trap is that when you operate from a place of stress and tension, your brain and your focus narrows. You lose creativity, empathy, and strategic perspective. And those are things that you could benefit from having more of, if you haven't figured that out already. But finding and curating joy doesn't remove the pressure. What it does is it gives your brain the resources to handle it more effectively. A lot of people think, oh, if I try and be joyful, I'm just pretending that everything's going to go away. That's not it. Again, your brain has better resources to handle that pressure and tension more effectively. You can think of joy as a high-performance lubricant for the human operating system. And without it, the machine grinds. With it, everything flows much smoothly. Again, in case you're a little skeptical still, here are a few established research findings that I feel every leader should know. First, happy people just plain live longer. The famous Nun study found that the most joyful participants outlived their less joyful peers by up to a decade. A decade. Let that sink in for a minute. And we're not just talking, a week or two. We're talking a decade. How many people nearing the end of their life would love to have an extra decade? That's massively significant and something that so many people forget. The second one is that happiness boosts immune function. Many studies, including one from Carnegie Mellon, showed that people with more positive emotional expression were significantly less likely to catch illnesses like the common cold. Again, boosts immune function. The third part about joy is that positive emotion expands your cognitive capacity. Similar to the benefits of play that we mentioned in the previous life lesson, joy increases positive emotion, which widens your perceptual field and helps you problem solve more creatively. The fourth one, joy improves team performance. Sean Achor, famous researcher from Harvard, found that employees who experienced small positive interventions increased productivity by up to 31% and accuracy in their tasks by 19%. That's not just a small increase, that's massive. Fifth one, laughter reduces cortisol. Now, multiple studies show that laughter acts as a natural stress modulator and increases serotonin, dopamine, and endorphins. And we know that cortisol, well, most people are bathed in it every single day, and having less of it in our system has incredible health benefits. For another episode to go into all the hormonal impacts of cortisol, but understand that laughter reduces it. The sixth one, and the final one, don't worry, we don't have too many more. There are lots more, but these are the top 6 that I chose. Leaders with positive effect are rated as more competent and trustworthy. And this one always surprises people. By positive effect, I mean basically a better mood. When they have more positive emotions, they're rated as more competent and trustworthy. So you don't have to be this bubbly cheerleader. You just simply have to show signs of psychological availability, approachability. Again, a simple smile. And that takes us to the neuroscience of smiling. Now, here's the fun part. You don't need something to smile about to benefit from smiling. Research on what we call the facial feedback hypothesis shows that the physical act of smiling activates the brain regions associated with happiness. In simple terms, Your brain believes your face. A widely cited study from the University of Kansas found that participants who held a genuine or even forced smile during stressful tasks showed lower heart rate and better recovery. And the translation from that is even a fake smile can help you regulate your nervous system, something that, as you've experienced, today's leaders, well, they need nervous system regulation like plants need sunlight. So simple fact of just even smiling, a fake wide smile, changes your hormonal structure, tricks your brain into thinking, oh, they must be happy. Again, it's not going to solve all your problems, but it sure makes things a lot easier to handle when you approach it with a better mood. Now, I've got a couple personal stories to share with you on this. One, this lesson was brought to life for me in junior high. So I had to write a history on the Canadian fur trade, something I had zero interest in, as most junior high students, I guess, wouldn't have. And this was peak procrastination time for me. And I can vividly remember picking up a book and reading Gulliver's Travels to delay the inevitable writing of this paper. But as I was reading, something clicked. And I asked myself, what if I wrote my essay from Gulliver's perspective, as if I was living inside the fur trade, like a first-person adventure? And suddenly, the assignment became a game. I finished early, which was unheard of for me. And the teacher loved it. And that moment taught me something that changed how I approach everything. I realized that tasks aren't binary, as in, they're not joyful or unjoyful. Is unjoyful? Is that a word? I'm not sure. But you don't have to pick one or the other. Tasks become joyful based on how we choose to engage with them. Fast forward a few years, I was working a part-time job stocking shelves at Safeway, the local grocery store near my house. To put it politely, mind-numbingly repetitive. It was tiring, carrying heavy boxes around and stocking shelves, and there was zero intellectual stimulation that I could think of. One particularly boring day, I recalled the fur trade lesson and remembered that I actually had the power to shape my own experience. I got a bit creative and I teamed up with another stock boy. Interestingly, his name was also Tim, which is weird. And we created our own fun. We raced around, we joked, we invented scoring systems for the shelf organization and had races to see who could stock them quickest. And before long, that boring job became something I looked forward to. Every time we worked together, we had a blast and the time flew by. And we actually did better work because we were so engaged in the process. And again, this is another simple reminder that joy is not passive. It's something that you engineer by how you approach it. Now, I've talked about junior high essays and stocking shelves at Safeway. These same principles apply to leadership. So I'm going to share some simple and practical strategies that leaders can use each day. Now, before you write these off, I want you to think about what the risk is of trying them. And I'll, beat you to the punchline. There's zero risk of trying these. And I guarantee you'll find ways to enjoy it more than just slogging through your day as normal. So the first tip is build smile breaks into your day. We already know that smiling tricks your brain into thinking you're happy. So set micro triggers every time you switch tasks. Before you jump into a new meeting, smile intentionally for 5 seconds. You're going to feel that shift instantly, especially if you've been slogging away for a bit of time already. Just even the sheer act of using those muscles shifts your perspective. The second one, turn mundane tasks into micro challenges. If my teenage self could gamify stocking soup cans, I guarantee you can gamify your inbox. The third one, use movement to unlock joy. A 15-second stretch or walk up and down the stairs beside your office, go into the fire escape and just go up and down one floor. That interrupts the stress physiology and boosts dopamine. In my work from home productivity handbook that I put out at the start of COVID, I talk about this, how to harness this, whether you're at home or in the office. The fourth one, get curious instead of irritated. Curiosity flips your brain from defensive mode into learning mode. Again, simple hacks that you can approach your own physiology at. When you start to understand your physiology, you can optimize it for your circumstances. Fifth one, laugh with your team. And I'm not talking about performative laughter, genuine human laughter. It builds connection, psychological safety, and shared resilience. Now you might be thinking, I've got nothing to laugh about. Our work is so stressful and serious. Even more reason. Find ways to laugh. Watch a funny video with your team. Tell a joke at the start of a meeting or something like that. It doesn't have to be complicated. Start to curate your day so you find opportunities for laughter. And the last one, Design one joyful task into every single day, whether it's a call you look forward to, a creative block of time, a walk outside. Joy does not need to be earned. In fact, use it as a strategic performance advantage. So when you choose joy, here are some of the things that shift. Your meetings shift their tone. Your presence as a leader shifts. Your decision-making improves. Your people feel more psychologically safe. Your culture gets lighter and more innovative. And you become a leader that people want to follow, not a leader that they must follow. Joy isn't accidental. Think of it as an operational tool that's ready instantly. And if joy feels hard right now, that's even more reason why this lesson matters. Start to curate it for you. Now, the world doesn't need more stressed out leaders who take themselves too seriously. It needs leaders who are grounded, energized, and joyful enough to see the possibility where others see stress. And you don't have to overhaul your entire week. You simply have to begin showing up with a little more emotional joy. Smile more, laugh often, and remember that you always have the power to create joy in the smallest tasks. Your future self and your team is going to thank you. Couple quick steps. I challenge you to add 2 micro-joy triggers to your day this week. Now share this episode with a colleague who you think needs a smile today. Just share it with them. Last one, reflect on one task that you currently dread and say, how could I make this fun? That's it. That's it for today's episode of the Working Well podcast. Now, if you enjoyed this show, I encourage you, please rate it, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Also, let me know which guests you'd like to see on the show. Message me through LinkedIn or on the contact page of timborys.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. That wraps up another episode of the Working Well podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Now, which guests or topics would you like to see featured on the show? Message me through LinkedIn or on the contact page of timborys.com with your ideas. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Tim Borys with Fresh Wellness Group, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.